We are joined, myself, Bowie, Ash, and Argik have been your hosts, and we are joined by the current world record holder for Dark Souls Remastered, Catalyst. Catalyst, thank you very much for joining us. And first off, I want to say a massive congratulations to you for your performance this weekend. You qualified with the world record. Day 2, you extended that world record. And then as Old Cool pushed that time to the limit, you immediately answered back with another clutch run. First off, just tell us like some first thoughts about how that feels, doing that run and performing that this way on this stage.
I don't really like at that point. I had no idea what was going on because I had everything off. My podcast ended, so it was just me in the game, and I was like, just gotta focus on the game and take it easy. And that's what I did. And then like my as I was running to fire stage, my phone was going off. There were notifications and messages and everything. So I was like, well, either something big happens or like I'm at least on Reki pace or something. Like because I had no idea. I was like, what the heck? And yeah, then I finished the run. I was like, cool. So I beat my PB. Then I open chat and I see chat is like GG. So I'm like, okay, I guess I actually got the record. Like nothing happened in between. And then I opened the Discord and I see that indeed something happened in between. Actually, like 5 minutes earlier, Old School got a 28. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't really realize even at that point what happened, but I was like, cool.
It's kind of weird that for 5 minutes you weren't the record holder anymore, and then suddenly you were, and you weren't even aware of it. So I obviously we tried to get Olsku here, but I think he's gone offline already. So thank you very much for staying up. It's very, very late for you to have this conversation, but I kind of wanted to talk about Olsku as well, and I think maybe you might be able to give us the most information here. Like he's the closest runner to you right now, and he's been when you went into this event, there was only a second between you, and then to have you go back and forth again, like clearly you're both at this level, and what's it like to have a competitor so close to you that pushes you further, like Old School?
I mean, I'm super impressed with Old School because he's a guy that you could say he joined relatively recently. He isn't super involved with the community. He's just doing his own thing, and he started running the game pretty much out of nowhere and on mouse and keyboard, nevertheless. Which this route is kind of perfect for because some of the other stuff you do in like in Prepared to Die edition, I feel like would be a little bit harder on keyboard and mouse. But this route works like flawlessly for it, and I'm just super impressed with his insane progress within a very short period of time. He had the record at I believe 103.50 when I started running remaster as well. I quickly tied it and beat it, and then he returned from DS3 uh, to compete with me, and he smashed me, and I was like, okay, well I got to step up my game, and then yeah, it took me a while basically to get a second under him. I qualified with that for BTR, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna take it easy until the event and see what happens. And I was really hoping he would join because I wasn't sure. And he did, and I'm just so glad that like this whole thing delivered. That the fact that he picked up his game on day 3, and he finished 2 strong 102 runs, and it's in the end, speedrunning is always about competing against you yourself, but it's always cool to have someone else that's running the same thing, the same route at the same speed, and you
Yeah.
can go ahead and compare different segments. You can compare what they're doing differently and what you're doing differently, and you can maybe help out each other as well. Um, that's a cool component, but in the end, speedrunning is always like just you against you and you against the game, and nothing interferes in that.
Yeah. It's kind of like those like kind of like track and field if you think about it in like competitive thing. It's not like you're not interactive. It's a kind of a self thing. I know that Ash and Nargik have some questions for you as well, but I'm going to ask one more. You're talking about that racing alongside these people, but for the weekend we've had 6 other runners alongside you who all competed and all qualified to get here. What do you think about this event and kind of like being able to do something like this with so many members of the community, and you can kind of collaboratively show the game off and show what you as a community can do? Like how has it felt competing in this way?
When this was brought up to us as Speedsouls that we could collaborate on organizing this event, I was like, a big proponent of doing it because I thought it was a great opportunity. Whether we were gonna do like Dark Souls 3 or remaster or whatever, we were figuring out which game would make the most sense. Um, I was like the first guy that was on board with it fully, and I thought it was a great opportunity for runners to compete. And I'm all for competition, so I was like, yeah, I obviously want to take part as well. Because this just sort of drives you, I think, and you can see that in this environment with every single runner PBing, if not once, even several times during this event. I was hoping before the event that people would just smash past their limits, that people would try to be the best that they can be. And obviously, there are some runners that were slower than others and some that were faster. But in the end, it's all just because of the time that has been put in. And I have no doubt that, like, if any of the runners that took part here put in the amount of time that Old School or me or Dan or Nax have put in, like, all these times could be beaten by, I feel like, anyone that took part in this event.
Yeah.
And it was just it was a blast. The event was great fun for the whole 3 days. A bit stressful, especially this last day. Lots of uptime. I streamed for like 11 hours. Did attempts, had just a short food break really.
Yeah.
And I'm just really, really happy that this event ended up being a big success, I think. Because I was nervous for so long. There weren't even like 7 participants on the qualifying leaderboards. I was like, this is gonna be it's gonna be a nice event with like 4 runners, and then obviously there ended up being like 12 submissions in the end, and
Yeah.
the way this all panned out is just great, and I'm very happy for like the entire event and for all the runners. I hope they enjoyed it as much as I did.
Cool. Shall I get any questions for Kata here?
I mean, I think we are both thinking of the same one. So if you want to
get it out now. Yeah,
wait, you go with the first. We'll see.
No, I was kind of wondering. I think with like Olska's performance, being the only runner with mouse and keyboard, I know how much controller like means to some of us in Speedsouls in terms of like the runs. Would you ever consider picking up mouse and keyboard, like with the level of play Olska was able to show and the strengths in some of the areas that he was able to do? Like,
Well, that's a good question. I've always been more of a mouse and keyboard player, actually. Like, the
Mhm.
reason I play on controller is just because it makes more sense for Dark Souls. Doesn't mean that it's superior, even though there are definitely places where it is, but I don't hesitate. I think adaptability is the number one thing that a speedrunner can have when a new strategy is discovered. You can tell that a runner is really skilled when they can just pick up the strategy and go work on like its consistency and end up being the first one to use it to at a very high level and use it proficiently. So I don't hesitate personally from just switching to mouse and keyboard whenever it actually benefits the run. Right before the event, I was lucky that someone in my chat, Molpatinger, I believe, had a great idea because I find it really hard to mash on controller. And in the remaster, because it's 60 FPS, when you fall, for example, to Gaping Dragon or to Nito's Arena or Pinwheel, right? These 3 sections where you fall onto the ground as a cutscene starts, there's a very limited time frame where you can get a roll. And I found it really hard to get that consistently on my controller. And so I was like, well, use mouse wheel for dialogue. Why don't you just like try mouse wheel for rolling? And that's what I did. And it worked perfectly. So like just before the event, I started utilizing mouse and keyboard even a little bit more. For example, like all of my pinwheel fights were done on mouse and keyboard because I just switched to it on the fog
Wow.
gate and then switched
Oh,
back.
nice.
So it adds a whole another dynamic compared to PTD.
It's kind
where
of a
you
rare one to
utilize
see.
keyboard.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
But yeah, you're right. It's interesting how you can swap between 2 different input methods. That's a unique thing that you don't often hear in speedrunning. So that's very nice.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we have to wrap this up shortly because production wants to kind of like obviously say goodnight. So Argik, do you want to ask your question? Do you want to go down that route?
Yeah, we're
wanna
going
put
down that
Catalyst
route.
on-
We're going down that route.
on the
I'm
spot?
going to be chat savior right now. We have to ask you. We've been watching throughout the run here. Is the good boy at the back real, or is he a plush?
Well, I would leave
Oh.
that up to interpretation. If you
Oh! Oh, good answer.
If you can see it,
Oh,
I believe it is real. And if it is real, you must understand the
I believe.
frivolous training that we've gone through to make him as good
Yeah.
of a boy as he is.
He is a
And
very
he
good
watched the
boy.
entire event, and
He did. Yeah,
cheered
he's
on
been
all
there
the
the entire
runners.
time
Mhm.
supporting you, buddy. I can't. Yeah, like that is one good boy.
Aw.
Well, a very deep answer to a very silly question. Thank you very much indeed, Catalyst. Again, it's been a wonderful performance from yourself and the entire community this weekend. You should be very, very proud. You walk away as our winner here at Break the Record Live, $1,500 and that world record. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, we will see you again, no doubt. But take care, sir. Right then, looking forward, we have to kind of say goodnight then and kind of wrap things up. It's been 3 days. Ash, Argic, final thoughts, like one sentence. What are you feeling?
I loved it. It's
Yeah.
been an absolutely phenomenal event here. Once again, I've said it throughout the last day here, but 4 for 4 on successful records being broken, 4 for 4 on absolutely amazing weekends, just going through a single day for Doom Eternal, but still great event overall. Hope to see more of them in the future. I hope the Speedsouls crew absolutely love this. Like, it's been phenomenal seeing all these runners. My final thoughts, obviously, really hope Gentov comes back in a couple of days and just smashes that 112 that he set. Like, I believe he can do it. Really unfortunate the last day here, just not able to get the run. And the way going out there, Snake falling off twice, and then just coming back and cutting him down as he spawned in. Really unfortunate, but we know he can do it.
Yeah, you can. Ash, thank you very much for joining us. You've been one hell of an what's the word? I've completely lost the word there. Advocate and kind of like spokesperson of the Speedsouls community. Thank you so much for joining us as a co-host.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How has the event kind of felt for you, and kind of anything to take away from that for you?
I loved it more than I like regular marathons, speedrun marathons, because you got to see the rigorous, like what it takes to do a speedrun, how rigorous it can be, to see it back to back, grinds, resets, and everything. The true nature of speedrunning was displayed at this event.
Yeah.
You got to see the tenacity of speedrunners themselves, and you got to see how difficult Dark Souls can really be. People make it look easy, but it's not. And we've gotten to see the true display of how it can treat you at every point in the run. Absolutely, just had a great time this event. And if I want to say anything, just hope everyone gets proper rest today, because after that back-to-back world record, the adrenaline crash on me is having its effects. Like, please go get proper rest after that. That was jaw-dropping moments there.
It was phenomenal. That moment's just like, ho. Like, everybody that was here for that witnessed an absolutely legendary moment.
Yeah, it was very, very special. And I think, after 4 Break the Record lives, we've, again, you mentioned it, 4 world records, but I don't think we've ever seen something quite like we saw today. 3 overall breaks in the event from 2 different people back to back is one hell of a moment that I think we will remember here at Break the Record Live. It's been a wonderful weekend, but all good things must come to an end. So obviously want to say the thank yous to everyone involved. So first off, obviously the ESA team, the ESA Marathon organization, the group who kind of put everything together. Obviously Eden on Planks is the main, the guys who like the driving force behind this, but of course everyone behind the scenes as well, like Tio, who's put in loads of work, and Fireboy, who kind of put in a ton of work as well. Everyone who's been like getting involved in the chat and on the socials to kind of push this. So thank you very much to ESA. Sponsors, Kaspersky for that $5,000 prize pool that our runners took home. Obviously Catalyst coming in first place there, winning that. We should probably go through the actual results, shouldn't we? Yeah. Catalyst in first with a 102.23, $1,500 from them. Oldsku 23 in second, taking home $1,000 with a 102.28. Dan Flesh takes home $700 at third place with a 103.43. Nax HPL 104.26 takes home $600. I keep wanting to say pounds because I'm British, but it's dollars. Iron Boy in fifth with a 107.52. Most improved player, I think we can say. with that $500. Mintius with a 108.29, $400, and bringing up the rear. Gentoff with that 112.03 with $300. So, that's a wonderful prize pool. So thank you to Kaspersky for that. Thank you, Twitch, for helping support the event. Speedsouls as a group, you've been incredible. Obviously, Ash, who's been here as a host, all the community casters who have joined us on the mic. I want to name them all. I'm going to remember them this time. Red, Regol, English Ben, Alibaba. I'm going to do it again. Kermit, Duck. That's all 7. Is that all 7?
Nope.
Oh, you missed one. The same one again.
The same one.
Capitan! Yeah!
Yay!
Nailed it. Okay, and Capitan, those 7 have been amazing, and they've shared so much knowledge and helped us out and brought so much energy and passion and love to the event. So thank you very much to those 7 casters, as well as everyone who's been involved, at home watching, getting involved in the chat, asking questions, sharing the hype, and just generally being here and making these events a success. It's an absolute pleasure to share that with you all. Stay tuned for more events from ESA Marathon. Make sure, as I say, to follow them on the Twitch here. If you're watching VODs, to subscribe to the YouTube, follow them on Twitter as well. Keep up to date with all the events. Remember that ESA Winter 2021 now has submissions open. If you want to join ESA at one of their big events, winter is coming up, and 2 weeks worth of submissions are open right now. Get those in, become part of this wonderful ESA family, and speedrunning. Just in general, it's an absolute pleasure to do this hobby and this passion, and for some people, maybe even a career. It's always wonderful to see how these communities come together and keep pushing times. With that, we have to say good night. I bet you have forgotten something. I'm going to get a message from production in the morning being like, you missed that. But everyone, thank you so much indeed. Once again, Argic, Ash, it's been a pleasure to host alongside you. Thank you very much. You're awesome.
Yeah, likewise.
Right then, with that, it's good night. So thank you. 3 days. Dark Souls Remastered, All Bosses, has come to a close. Break the Record Live is now over, but until we see you again, keep on breaking your own records. Take care and stay classy.